Hi, everybody. We are live. Myself and my esteemed host, Lou Mars here. Fantastic musician, multi-instrumentalist, award-winning drummer, author. Oh, my God, I can't say enough about him. Anyway, it's Lou and I think there'll be some others joining us here eventually. But I want to thank everybody for joining tonight, and we're looking forward to this show. We're going to start talking about bands that are on tour right now, rock bands that are filling stadiums, large and small. I mean, the bottom line is we had a couple of years of COVID. I had some shows that I had bought tickets early for. I wasn't going to miss them, and they got canceled because of COVID. And then it's finally loosened up again, and everybody's back out going to shows, and we're just really looking forward to it. And I want to, hi, Julia. Hi, Caitlin. Hey, girls. Thanks for popping in. We appreciate it. We're just getting started, and we're going to be talking about bands that are out on tour and having concerts right now. And we're looking forward to that because I know I have a list of shows I'm going to be going to see. And let's see, we've got a couple more people going to join us, but we'll move on here. Okay, so in April 23rd, I saw Alice Cooper for the very first time. It's 10 minutes from where I live. And I tell you what, he's been doing this for years, but it was a fantastic show. I really enjoyed it. And it was the whole thing, you know. I mean, I know one of the lead guitar player, Ryan Roxy. I've met him several times. He's friends with relatives of mine. And so he was there. He was on my side of the show. We're down there with good seats. And I filmed that entire concert. If anybody wants to see that show, just go to my profile and I mean, just type in, you know, Alice Cooper, or just scroll down. It starts out with a big blue screen with the blue curtain up. Then the curtain drops, and out comes Alice with his cane, and everybody starts going off. But I mean, it was a lot of fun. All the theatrics. I mean, I got to see the guillotine roll out, chop Alice's head off. Somebody ran around with his head, you know, showing it off. It was a lot of fun. Danny Bob, hey buddy, how you doing? Boy, we're starting to get our people in here. Look at Linda Foster. Hi, Linda. Good to see you, Linda. Thank you for coming in. We're going to be talking about rock concerts tonight and all the bands that are out on tour. And I've been talking about the show that I just saw, April 23rd, which was Alice Cooper. Fantastic show. But the opening band was actually Ace Frehley, former lead guitar player for Kiss. And that was good too. You know, he's a pretty good guitar player, and he did this one song where the smoke started coming out of the guitar like he was burning it up, you know. And it was pretty funny. You know, he was a pretty good guitar player. He threw some good licks out. And hey, Mary Jane, how you doing, Mary Jane? So anyway, I wanted to talk about. I was going to start by just saying what we have coming up at our local venues. And we already have tickets to see Journey, Betty and I.
Oh, right on.
Okay. Monroe the Vinyl Unicorn wants out. She's unhappy. She's unhappy. Say hi to the folks, Moe. Okay. All right. Hey, honey, my other dog attacked her.
Oh, that's because of the unicorn.
Hey, Russ, would you please close the door? Thank you. Anyway, sorry about that.
Save that.
Anyway, July 20th, we have Journey. And we love Journey. Betty's been a huge Journey fan forever. We've never seen him. So we're going to go see Journey in July. And 3 nights later, Carlos Santana's playing. And Carlos Santana, for me, has always been a bucket list concert. I love that guy. I love his playing. Ever since I saw Carlos Santana with his original Santana playing at Woodstock. And mind you, at the time that he was playing at Woodstock, they didn't have a single album out. They were the opening act.
A lot of bands didn't have anything.
They were the opening act for Grateful Dead. In fact, that's one of the crazy stories about that whole thing. Is when they got to the airport in New York, they saw Jerry Garcia at the airport. Jerry Garcia came over and goes, "Hey, Carlos, you guys want some acid?" And they go, "Oh no, we don't know when we're going on, man. We're not going to touch that." And they go, they were the opening act for Garcia, or for the Grateful Dead. So they partied a lot. But so he goes, "Oh, no, we're not going on for about 12 hours, and you're going on after us." And so the entire band, Santana, took some LSD, and they got to the venue, and they were just completely fried. And somebody walked in and said, "Hey, we've had a couple of people that got stuck in traffic. You're on." and they went out and played like that.
So okay, so
And
Royce,
that performance of the song "Soul Sacrifice" is just, I mean, it's just burned into my memory. It's absolutely golden.
I don't
Hey,
want
Bob,
to get you in trouble. Hey Royce,
his
I don't want to
face
get you in trouble. But
Yeah.
have you ever done LSD at a concert way back when? I mean, it's so far back, no one can hold you to it now. But did
Well,
you ever?
know, it's so far back, I probably.
I can't remember. I get where you're going.
You got to remember, I grew up in the late '60s. You know what I'm saying?
So is that a yes? As a pseudo, he's all.
Excuse me.
I think we know the answer, audience. I think we know the answer.
I'll pose the same question.
Okay, well, I will answer that because that looks good on my resume. Of course I did. And you know what? That was the time period. And I'm going to be straight up. I'm not being pro drugs, but there were decades where certain. Yeah, and I'm clarifying that. I'm clarifying that because I get sick. As I said before, I get sick and tired of the interviews where the drugs and the sex is the focal point of musicians. It's people. I'm telling you right now, it's the music is number one. It's always the music. That other shit is just secondary.
Absolutely.
Secondary, right? It could be enhancers. It could be exciting. It could be part of the attitude. It could be part of the atmosphere. Speaking of live shows, especially, we're talking about live shows tonight. There's drugs prevalent. There's the women. There's male groupies on the female bands. Vixen is coming to Feather Falls here. Remember Vixen, the original female metal band, is back. Yeah. They're touring.
Wow.
They're playing from Illinois one night right here.
Yeah, I have seen that. Let me do a shout out here. We've got some people here. Dave,
we've got a large crowd early. Large crowd early.
Is here, and Hit Space 1980 is here. Good to see you guys. And Linda Foster's all over the chat. We've got a lot of people here tonight, and
early crowd.
Really going to be fun. Bob's always very entertaining. Daddy Boggs, and
stay with us, people. We're going to need you to help us call out some of these bands that are touring that you've seen. So stay with us.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Zep Pearl. Hey, good to see you, Zep Pearl. I think we met Zep Pearl through Michael Nolan.
Yes, I think that's the connection on that. I think Michael's coming on tonight too.
Yeah, no, he asked me for a link, and I sent it to him on one of the shows. He asked me there. I gave it to him. And then I put it here in the chat too for him. So
he'll be here. He'll be here. He's probably got technical difficulties with that new one, Dale.
Okay, so I'll go.
Let's talk about these bands.
Go ahead and finish. I didn't mean to interrupt. I just wanted to say.
Oh no, you didn't interrupt. No, but I'm saying though, there has been through the times with live shows, enhancing products available. One of them you just brought up was in the '60s, acid. A lot of people, whether you're for it or not, were dropping this drug, as they would call it, put the tab or microdot under their tongue or swallow, and they would have an enhanced experience. I'm going to put it that way.
Right.
In the 80s, it's kind of switched. You know, the 70s was kind of like weed and mushrooms, and then in the 80s, it kind of went into cocaine. The 90s, it changed up. People sobered up for a while there in the 90s, but then, of course, it went back to other enhancings, and they still to this day. Does that mean you need drugs to enjoy a show? Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. You know,
absolutely not.
For me, it was just, I was a teenager. It was youthful exuberance and, trying everything and whatever,
It's part of the rebellion.
Exactly. And
so, a good band is a good band is a good band. Just like I said, a good song is a good song. Right, you don't need anything to enjoy them. You'll have a great time.
Okay. Yeah, right. I thought, Zep Pearl actually found Michael Nolan through me, saying that's cool.
Oh, it's the other way around.
But it's all good. I love it. All right on. So anyway, so do you have any concerts scheduled, Lou?
No, I signed. I did. It's just now getting back, so that's interesting. You just mentioned that, and I'm going to mention Alice Cooper again.
Yeah,
I signed a 137 show contract earlier this year. 137 shows I was supposed to do. Then Gavin, yes, that was in January this year. Crazy. Then Gavin, our wonderful California leader, rolled back the mask rule. I'm not going to get into the politics of all that stuff, but the minute he did that, when he rolled that back, my first 4 shows in LA were canceled. So we were just like, we're not going to do this COVID thing again. It's too expensive. And they were saying, if any of us tested out, we would lose an automatic 14 days on the road. I want people to know what musicians have been dealing with. You can't live like that. You can't have a whole band. Bands are family. It's just not your band, your light crew, your sound crew. We're all in buses. And if you've got one guy that gets tested just because his temperature's warm and suddenly, or a false positive, as they call it, which was a 50-50 chance, you were entirely grounded for 14 days. Your entire group, all these people lose money. All the venues lose money. So that was just earlier this year, folks.
That's crazy.
It takes time to set up a good tour. Now, these bands that you're hearing right now that we're going to talk about tonight, they're big-time established bands, and this is what's created this formula, which is why we're talking about it. The only way you could jump right back out right now is if you had something incredible already. You could do a short notice, and you've got a venue like fairs, carnivals, or whatever. That's why you're seeing a lot of fairground. A lot of this stuff's fairgrounds, or just recently places like Vino Robles dropping or as we had our guest from, what was it, the local theater there, Royce? What's the local big theater?
Vino Robles.
What was the gentleman that was on our show though? His theater. That's in San Luis Obispo.
No. That was a San Luis Blues Festival that's held at the Avila Beach Blues Festival.
No, he's at the theater. You got a theater downtown that's huge. It's not the Senator. It's not the Ogden. It's not the Fillmore. What the name is that theater? He was on our show.
Okay, name of the theater. Okay, hold on.
Downtown San Luis.
The old theater.
Yes.
Where they hold the San Luis Film Festival every year.
Yes, yeah, I was part of that. I know. Shame on us. He was on our show. He was on our show.
Right.
Your show. I'm coasting. So that place just now got to the point where they also, remember he was talking about that? Drop the rules.
Well, that was Bruce Howard. He does the Avila Blues Festival. Yes.
But he also does that theater, that big time theater you guys.
Oh, that's right. He does do that too.
Yeah,
hey,
I can't think of the name.
Michael, how are you?
Man. Michael in the house.
Michael in the house. That's right.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, a little delayed there.
Yeah, it's a little delayed. All right, I was trying a different mic situation. I don't think it's going to work out if it's coming delayed, right?
Oh, okay.
Well, so we'll see. That it wasn't delayed that time.
Oh, okay.
Right.
All right. Yeah, I basically am using, a lavalier microphone because in the past episodes, it's like the first 5 or 6 sentences and most of my sentences kind of get buried in the mix. So I thought I'd try something different tonight anyway.
That's an Apple issue sometimes.
It's sounding good right now, Michael.
Yeah. You're okay.
Of course. How are you guys doing?
Good. We're doing.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about all the bands that are out on tour right now, rock concerts. Yeah,
we're going live, man. We're going live.
I brought up my most recent was Alice Cooper, and opening for him was Ace Frehley. And I'm going in July to see Journey right here at one of our local venues at the fairgrounds. 3 days later, Carlos Santana. But I mean, just to give you an idea of who's coming to that it starts out, Journey's the first night, then Darius Rucker, Old Dominion, Santana. There's a Live to Rock tour, and it's got some interesting, Skid Row, Warrant, people like that, some old early 90s, glam rock and stuff like that. And I've met some of those guys. I know Sebastian Bach from Skid Row. And Leonard Skinner's next. And I don't know, is there anybody original left in Leonard Skinner anymore?
God, you know what? I haven't kept up, but at last count, weren't they pretty much down to their last man? And
2 different plane accidents.
Yeah. The last time I would have paid to see Leonard Skinner was probably late 90s, early 2000s. I didn't mind, the change of people after the dreaded airplane crash.
Yeah, and they lost their lead singer. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Little Brother did a pretty decent job at helming the band. I don't think anybody else would have stepped in quite as well as he did. And they still had enough of the original element of the band. And you know what? They even came up with some kind of cool new material along the way.
Okay.
So
I think that's
what it'd be like now. It's not something I would go see now personally, just because they've lost so many members, you know. John Fogerty's going to be here. Has a little spare
money for him.
Huh?
How much are tickets going for him? Because I'm telling, I'd see John Fogerty as equally as if he magically got together with the other two and they really were Creedence, you know.
Wow.
I just love John Fogerty. His everything he does, his solo career, Creedence. I know. Top dollar to see him.
I know. I'm going to say it doesn't say right here what the tickets are, but the tickets generally start there. The cheapest ones are usually about $35, and you're going to be in the grandstand, sort of behind into the side of the stage, and then it starts to get more around $60 as you start getting better seating. Now, if you're down on the floor, right in front of the concert, right in front of the band, I mean, you can pay a pretty good premium for that. I've had some second, third row stuff over the years. I got so spoiled I didn't want to go unless I was going to be in the first few rows.
You see, COVID has created an interesting environment right now that I've never seen in my lifetime as a pro musician. And here's what it is.
Okay.
You've got 2 years that we were iced. I'm saying we because I was one of them. I had 2 tours that got iced. Now, what's unusual is in my lifetime, I have never seen a roster of veterans at this level, or I should say mature bands touring at this level. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just stating a fact. There are more mature aged bands traveling than I've ever seen in the experience of my lifetime. Now, here's my theory as to why. And I think this is important to the young guys out there getting frustrated perhaps right now because they're not getting the gigs. But it's true.
Yeah,
it's the music business. We forget about that part. Music business. There's a reason they don't call us, when you're at that level, they don't call you a musician anymore. They call you an artist. They never say recording musician. They say recording artist. That's a whole nother topic. But first off, music business. Business. When you book a show like a guy at my level, where I got to prove my shit every single time I go out there because I'm not Journey or I'm not the Rolling Stones. So I got to prove to a venue I'm going to bring in some people, and that I can bring in. It's about money. Well, who thought? It's about money. So yeah, what a concept.
Yeah,
so,
novel.
Right. So right now, in order to usually book a tour, it's a year in advance. It takes a year in advance, folks out there, to get a good tour solid. You got buses, you got people, you got light, you got the venue. You can't just say, I'm going to book a tour and it's magically there within months, These venues are already booked. Now, here's where this has got different, what this show's about that makes it interesting. Suddenly, with a flick of a switch, the venues are open. But there's been no planning.
Yeah.
There's been no time for planning, right? There's no planning. So what are you going to do to try to guarantee at the highest level that you're going to have bodies in it? Where you get some badass veteran bands who are going to have the best possibility, like an Alice Cooper. And even he struggled. The venue was half full. But that's what you had to do. You had to throw down the gauntlet and go, man, who can I get quick, who's already got a band, already got a reputation, instant concert, and then boom, right?
Right.
I've also got a question for you, Lou. How are, like, let's say we'll use John Fogerty since we're talking about him. How well is he selling out? You're saying Alice Cooper could only fill half a house?
And I'm not blaming Alice for that, by the way, because first off, and I will answer that. First off, you've got the people that are remember, the country was split. We won't get into the politics of all that shit that just happened. But the bottom line was that we all know and can agree, no matter what side you're on, the country was split. Half of the people are still not coming out. Half of the people still wearing masks in their car, driving by themselves. Okay, so we got that crowd that's not going to pay a ticket to go see a band right now because they're worried, or the media got to them, or maybe they're right. I don't want to insult them. So here's the thing. These big time bands, if a big time band like that, like you just brought up, Fogerty, if he can't bring, or Cooper doing all these theatrics, a wonderful show. I've seen them. It's a wonderful show. If they are not bringing and selling out Paso, or at least 3/4 full, that goes to show you how tough it is right now for name brand musicians to sell. So of course, anything lesser than a Fogerty or that is going to really struggle right now. So here's my message to the people out there. Go see the live bands. The music, the bands you're going to see right now, go see them. It's the last chance you're going to have to see a lot of these old guys.
That's how I'm feeling. That's exactly how I'm feeling.
And number two, if there's a new guy playing, please go down and see him. That's how you discovered Led Zeppelin. That's how you discovered Fogerty. They were new at one time, and you were the young dude that went and saw them when nobody else did. They wouldn't exist today if you weren't thinking that way still. So get out there and see these live shows again. People were starving. Yeah. Get out there.
I'll tell you, if I don't go to see Carlos Santana, I'll never forgive myself.
Wow. Yeah, you gotta go see that. But Royce, now let's get back. I wanted to kind of ask you.
Okay.
Since you're kind of aware, what would be your guesstimate at the most expensive, best seats in the house to go see John Fogerty this year? Where you're going to go see?
I don't think you could. I don't think it'd go over 150. Would be the very tip top if it was even.
It's a low dollar.
All right. So here's my thought on this whole process. The reason I wanted to ask you guys this is, all right, John Fogerty. I can't think of a better example. You guys chose him. I'm just following up what you guys were discussing. I can't think of a better example of a person who, as a songwriter and a performer, who is equal to Paul McCartney right now than John Fogerty. As far as now he didn't write dozens of #1 hits. He only wrote maybe 15 or 20 of the top 10 hits. They never had a #1 hit. They only all of their singles went to #2, which is really
everybody did when the Beatles.
Isn't that a strange anomaly in rock and roll? It's clear what. But here's the deal.
Rolling Stones too.
And I've been watching all of these YouTube videos on McCartney. Dude, he sounds horrible. And
I know.
And I did a whole video on how much his tickets cost. Rafters up in the rafters behind the stage, facing his back, were $250.
Yeah, it's not apples and apples though, Michael. It's not apples and apples because you've got supply and demand.
All right, except Fogerty still sounds like his records, and McCartney.
Yes. Well, that's an interesting topic. I'm glad you said that right there because you've got a point to where it's almost like when I'm a huge Muhammad Ali fan, but there was that point.
I'm the biggest Muhammad Ali fan.
I love that dude. I hated him at first when I was a kid, but then I learned. I figured it out. I was late. I got it. I didn't understand. At the beginning, I didn't understand. I wanted somebody to kick his ass. But at the end, I was like, I totally got it. I get you, dude. I get you. Now, using Ali as an example, that guy, there was a point if you guys love Ali like I did, you were hoping, like, don't go in the ring, dude. Don't. You're letting these guys beat you that don't deserve. Stinks didn't deserve that title, man. He didn't deserve it. That's my opinion. No. Now, the bands are some of these bands are kind of like being Ali right now. And I think some of these bands are being Ali where they're like, I know you love it. I love it too. I'm passionate. It's hard to say no, but at some point you got to leave on top. You got to leave on top. And we're talking about that. Michael brought up a band, one member left in Skinner. Is it really Skinner, or are you paying money to say you saw the name, not the band?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
so
I
that's
know
what you're talking.
That's
what he's talking about, man.
Oh, yeah. Well, I recently saw a Ringo Starr concert on Access, one of those channels, and it was a fairly current one too. And he invited Paul McCartney was in the audience. He invited him up, and they were singing, and Ringo sounded better than Paul McCartney. I was just sitting there with my mouth open.
You guys are hammering on royalty, but I get it. He's royal though. He's royalty. It's like the Stones.
No, I know. And as far as we were talking about John Fogerty and CCNR, oh my God! I tell you, when I turned 16 years old, and put a little 8-track stereo and a light bar under my dash in my 55 Chevy. The very first 8-track I bought was Bayou Country CCNR. And I tell you what, I'm not listening to it as an 8-track today. I've got all the albums and stuff. But I absolutely loved Creedence Clearwater. And didn't I read somewhere where someone was trying to sue John Fogerty for sounding too much like John Fogerty?
That old man down the road sounding too much like Green River?
Or something like that. Yeah.
Wow.
It was one of the tracks from that album, and it was sounding too much like the song Green River. And he said, how can you sue me for sounding like myself?
I know.
How does that even happen? You know?
Well, we were talking about 70s and 80s bands coming back right now, and a lot of the 70s bands have been dominating. But I got handed a ticket here of some 80s bands that are traveling together. I don't know if you guys are aware of this. Listen to this lineup. It is about timing. One thing I like about Michael said, he said, I would have paid, I'm not quoting you exactly, but you just said something like, this was the point of where I would have paid to see the band. I think that's a really interesting statement, a very true one.
Right.
Because I've said that too. I've been blessed to see some fantastic bands, and today I would not. I'm not going to mention them because I don't want to hurt them, but I would not pay to see them now. I don't want to be negative on them.
I hear you. Well, you know,
check out
Linda Foster. Linda, go ahead.
Oh, I want you to check this list out real quick. These guys you probably already know this, but these guys are traveling together right now in a show. Check this list out. Motley Crue, Joan Jett, Def Leppard, and Poison are touring together right now.
Oh,
that's pretty interesting, man. That's pretty crazy.
No, that is interesting. Well, that's like one of the concerts at Paso Robles Fairgrounds. You've got Warrant. Quiet Riot was one of them. Quiet Riot, Skid Row, Sebastian Bach, and there's a group of about 5 of them that were always on MTV videos.
So it would be fair to say that these bands were. These bands were what? In their prime around 87, 88? You guys with me on that, right? So we were talking about this. We were talking about this, Royce, privately prior to the show yesterday. I said, think about this. If you were age 21 when Jimi Hendrix was out, 1969, imagine blowing off Hendrix to listen to bands from 1919. You'd be like, what?
Right.
But that's what's happening right now.
I got to do one more shout out. We've got Eddie's Physical Media Talk just joined us. How you doing, Eddie? Good to see you here, buddy.
Physical Media.
Yeah.
I better put on the pro headset for them.
A few times. Anyway, so glad to see you here, Eddie. Linda Foster just had some interesting things to say. Let's see if I can go back up and find what Linda had to say. Will your voice sound the same at 80? Well, mine probably will.
Zepp said he just wanted to see Joan Jett. I saw that in the chat, and I got to tell you, I have met Joan Jett when she was in the Runaways, and then I've also seen her afterwards. She's badass, dude. Go see her.
Yeah. You know, I missed an opportunity to see Joan Jett. We were at the Laughlin River Run. We rode our Harleys back there like 10 years in a row, and
Chick rocks, man.
My buddy got tickets to everything. They gave him tickets to the Black Crowes, so we're sitting in the front row watching the Black Crowes, and there's these like Woodstock type dancers, I call them, dancing next to us, right in front of us. And Dave was on the end, and they kept dumping beer all over him. And Dave's got a real temper. He got up and had security remove him, and moments later they were spilling beer on him again. Wow. He got so pissed off. I said, "Hey, we're going to go see Joan Jett." He goes, "No."
You can never be that pissed off.
He had free front row tickets to see it. It was just no way.
Dude, you gotta chill. You gotta chill, man. You gotta go see the Joan. And Billy Idol, man, he's a guy that won't disappoint right now. That dude still puts on a good show like Cooper, man. Yeah. Billy Idol, he rocks it still. Respect. Right. Respect.
Hey Dan, what do you got to say for yourself, buddy?
Danny in the house. I know. Dan, is your background changed color again, or am I just not sober enough?
I think it's just getting it reflects what's happening here in Texas. We're burning up here.
The temperature.
Yeah. Oh my God.
He's got a mood wall.
He's guys.
Son of the mood ring.
Dude, I love that. We have a whole new invention. All right, so we've got 2 new. So you, Michael, and I have to come up with something because right now we got Royce in the house is going to have his own hats backward. He's gonna have the Royce in the House hats.
I need to get some hats made,
And Dan is gonna have mood walls for sale.
I can make it any color you want.
That is awesome. We should have the fans predict or request what color they want your wall each show.
I could even put on disco lights.
Oh, can you?
I could do it into police lights, red
All right,
and blue.
I'm getting jealous right now. I'm going to get me some shit, man. This is going down.
What I'm more jealous about is Dan's microphone. This guy has got the best sound. Out of all four of us, you know.
Right.
I don't even know.
This is a tour mic.
I can't make head nor tails out of what kind it is.
It's,
but man,
I believe it's a Shure. Yeah, Shure 75.
Very clear.
And this is a 50 classic 58 that's seen the.
The SM58 is the workworkhorse of all microphones.
Yeah. Robert Plant, Daltrey swinging this bad boy. You know that's why they put the screw. I always tape my mics. There's a screw right here that keeps that in. So when he would swing those, a lot of people think that was because of him. That they put that in there. You can screw that in so it doesn't unplug. Unbelievable shit. It's some rock and roll badassery, man.
Right.
When I remember when I went down to buy my very first Shure SM58, and I asked, what was that screw for? And of course, you know, this is back when they sold them at like where you'd go to get a Maytag washer.
Yeah, Sears.
Right? Yeah. And so he said, it's considered a trip screw in case you trip and pull on. So it was designed to actually stop it from ripping out the guts. So
yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the classic XLR. This is the workhorse mic still to this day. Yeah. This one here is from the 70s, speak of the devil. I've had this one. This was my favorite for when I'm up front. It just happens to be out right now because I picked up another new live mixer and tested it, which is what we're talking about tonight. I haven't had to test a live mixer in ages, so I'm really excited that the sign that this is back out means that some shit's going to go down, and I'm really happy about that.
Yeah, mine's also an SM58. And I've got a Yamaha soundboard here. A Yamaha.
Nice. Oh, your sound is quality as shit, Dan. There's no doubt there.
I've got an SM58 here, complete with bent screen.
Oh, this one's got blood on it.
Swinging around.
But who doesn't have at least 2 or 3 of these hanging around? You know, $100. $100, folks, and one of the best. You can record with it. You can sing live.
So here's the next, and then you need one of these. This is the bad boy that holds the whole arsenal. And then you got the kick drum mic and the Sennheiser. Yeah, baby, it's time. It's showtime.
Well,
I'm outgunned.
Speaking of bands that are touring, let's do a call out to these boys, man. They're back out. They're back out. Love you, brothers.
That's a good band. I was going to mention to you the other close venue here. We've got the Paso Fairgrounds. I was just mentioning where I'm going to see Journey and Santana, and maybe somebody else. We'll see. Fogerty. I really should go see Fogerty because that's kind of a bucket list thing there too, you know. But we also have the Vina Robles Amphitheater, and they put on good shows, and that's where I saw Alice Cooper, you know, on April 23rd or 4th. Great show. And it's a really cool venue too. It's a lot of fun. There really are even the grass area that you can take a blanket and throw down and bring a lawn chair or something. Even the seats from there behind all the other seating are still good. I mean, it's not that big of a place. And so that's a good place. And they've got some great shows coming up there. Pat Benatar is going to be there. Elvis Costello. Weird Al Yankovic is going to be there.
Weird Al's touring?
Weird Al's touring. Yeah.
Has he had work done? I saw a recent picture of him. What the hell is going on, Weird Al? Al, all of a sudden he's all like, Al, really? It's not like he was pretty to begin with. Come on, dude.
Yeah, so Weird Al's going to be there, and then we've got Bonnie Raitt, Buddy Guy, and Kenny Wayne Shepherd are coming. Incubus, Chelsea Handler. That one threw me for a loop. But and this one I'd really like to go see, and that's Ringo Starr and his all-star band. They're all coming to the winery.
I got my second list of must-sees. I got my second. I'm going to represent the 90s now real quick, except for a couple of these.
Go for it. Go for it.
Check these out, people. Foo Fighters back on tour, man. Green Day's back on tour. Metallica is touring. Rage Against the Machine is touring. The Killers for you guys. Killers are back on the road with a really aggressive schedule. This is badassery going on right now at short notice. I'm telling you, this is a once-in-a-lifetime chance to see a lot of great bands in a short period of time for you fans.
Yeah.
It's a blitzkrieg because here's the thing. We're afraid that if this – I almost said bullshit. I didn't mean to say that. If this thing happens again this winter – we could all get shut down again. So they're blitzkrieging going out there. So take advantage of this factor, folks. If you like live music, don't let those venues be half full, man. That's bad. Get out there. Right. And then guys like me will be back up batting cleanup for these guys. And there'll be some really good shows because there's a lot of new good music because we sat there and wrote during this period. So some new music coming out. It's going to be great. That's my prediction.
One of the good things about the situation is, the consumer always wins in these situations. Prices are
I like your
really
attitude.
Reasonable right now.
Yes.
As a matter of fact,
Dad's right. Dad was right with that toss. And there are some anomalies on that. Yeah.
Well, I was just looking at tickets, and Robert Plant and Allison Krauss is coming here, and they're not filling up arenas. They're doing like mid-size theaters where I don't know, capacity 8,000 maybe.
Which is unusual for them, by the way. You should note that. That's unusual. That's low for them.
I know that they're going to sell out.
And great seats for about $200. Now, that in a theater?
It was $259 what I saw in the center section, not the front row, but the center section directly from the stage. Now, once you get up in the lower balcony, it's really only one lower balcony. I think those were like $79, so.
Okay. Well,
but for the talent, very reasonable. And I mean, we're talking about Robert freaking Plant here.
I know.
For $200.
Royalty. Another royalty situation. I call that royalty. It's not even. Yeah, it's not even Bandit. McCartney, Robert Plant, those guys.
Still sing.
Yeah. Yes, he can.
He doesn't have the range, but he can still sing and do incredible things with his voice.
Hey, you know what? There's no difference when Sinatra at the end, and boy, am I going to get shit for that statement, but Sinatra at the end, and a lot of those boys of crooners, they were fading at the end too with their voices. But you know what? People love them so much.
Sinatra was still singing after he faded pretty bad, actually. But everybody still loved him and was happy to have him on stage.
They just wanted to be there, man. They just want to be there. So again, there's that fine line of, are you okay? Because you're not truly seeing who you paid for because of their reputation. You're seeing who they are now. There is a difference, and I don't know how people feel about that. And I'm going to be bad. I'm going to say, man, the Stones right now, I love the Stones, man. I'm a huge, huge fan, but they're not the Stones that they were before. Yeah. They're hurting right now, and I hope they fix that or pause. But I don't know. What do you think about that?
I'm gonna do a brief retraction and correction of a question I was asked a couple of shows ago. And Michael and I both agreed that Robert Plant was our number one frontman. And I sat down and thought about this after that show, and hands down, Mick Jagger would have been my number two. But anyway, let's move on. That was two.
Mick, you took Mick. Well, Mick. Nobody moved like Mick. I mean,
no,
as a frontman
like
band,
Mick Jagger, they write songs about it.
Nobody still does not move like Mick. That's a long period of time for no one to figure out how the hell to move like Mick.
Exactly right.
Although I'm going to give Steven Tyler a little bit there, man. Tyler, he's got some moves. He jumps around, kind of looks like him with the bumblebee stung lips. I mean, that thing. It's true.
Mick Jagger, Steven Tyler, and Carly Simon. They all. I think they trade off lips.
That's awesome. Carly Simon.
The same pair of lips.
I hope Carly sees us some weird way, man, Michael. It's like, oh fuck.
I hope she does too, because Carly, you're one of the most beautiful women ever in rock and roll.
Yeah, we've got some comments here in the chat.
You'd be surprised.
Mr. Bizarro, who's been on the show with us before, he says Incubus is great live. I'm going to see them in August, so that's cool. And Zep Pearl says he just saw Plant and Krauss this past Tuesday in Chicago. Plant still has it. It was a great show. They sounded fantastic. Video on my channel. Oh, great, Zep Pearl. I'll go look for that. I'll go look for that big time. And Mary Jane says, I like Dean Martin's voice over Sinatra. You know, I did too. I was a kid when Dean Martin had his weekly show where it was the only show where they drank real alcohol during the show. And you talk about a funny guy. That was a great show. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, check out some of Dean Martin on Johnny Carson's show. Now that's
hilarious. Oh, when Johnny dips his finger in his cup to test it because he's so messed up in that one clip. You know, if you guys haven't seen that clip on YouTube, people check out Dean Martin drunk and it'll come up Johnny Carson. It's hilarious.
I think Bob Hope was there too.
Bob Hope's sitting on his right, and Dean keeps calling Johnny a different name. He calls him Ricky and all kinds of everything with Johnny. Hey, Ricky.
Zep Pearl just mentioned something that I had noticed earlier tonight when I was studying, and he says Foo Fighters on tour? ? I know of the tribute to Taylor show, but that's it so far. And I did read about him. I thought he was going on tour though as a tribute to Taylor. I thought I read that tonight.
Oh no! All I know is that
it's a one-time thing or an actual tour, but I got the impression it was an actual tour, but I could be wrong, Zep Pearl.
He's got something coming up. Yeah, these are all tours that were double checked for this year for bands coming out. And in addition, many times I'm going to be possibly working with that guy up in Canada. They're going to be doing a world record. He likes to do the world record drumming things. His thing is doing it with the kids, like all kids playing a song at the same time, max number. Oh, wow. So I might be participating in that coming up because of the other marathon drummer thing. So he's got a lot. That dude is just busy as hell. And he's I've not met him personally yet. I look forward to hopefully doing that. But when Elton John comes out and says you're one of the greatest guys in the 90s, I can't think of any bigger compliment than that. And Elton John said that about him, you know. So good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's great stuff.
You know, I'm sitting here looking at the tour dates for Foo Fighters, and they're busy till the end of the year.
Thank you for confirming that, Dan. Yeah, I was pretty sure that's accurate. Oh, here's a guy that
Bob says Ringo Starr had to cancel the tour because band members getting COVID. Jack White. Huh?
Jack White's back, baby. This guy's underrated, man. This guy's underrated. He could. Anybody who tours with a Sears Roebuck guitar, speaking of Sears, yes, his first guitar with white stripes, that red and white guitar, was a plastic $100 guitar. If you want to verify that, check out the movie and Mike It Loud with him with Jimmy Page, and he's also with the Edge.
Doesn't he mention in that that he actually prefers the guitar to hurt and to resist? Because if it resists, then he can work for the sound. And I thought, oh man, that's insane.
The dude's a genius. The dude's a genius. Yeah, there's a scene in that movie, folks. If you haven't seen it, Mike It Loud. If you love guitar, or even if you don't, but you love music, check out it, Mike It Loud. He's in it. He's the opening scene. He ties a hay bale wire to a nail with a pickup. It's just badass. But that guitar we're talking about right now, folks, in that movie, he takes the plastic guitar from Sears Roebuck, $100 thing. He drops it on the ground. He starts dancing on it. It doesn't break. It's all. It's like yes. Just that shit turns me on, man. I love that stuff.
Yeah, my first and only guitar was from a Sears. Was this red and white one from Sears?
It might be the same guitar.
Could be. It was 1972. I think I got it.
Those guitars. Do you still have it?
No. I actually traded it for a waterbed.
Those guitars are collector's items now because of that.
Yeah.
Where's our dude with the lunchbox, man? He probably has one. Right? Where is he? He probably has that damn guitar.
I have no idea where he is tonight.
God,
hey Dan,
somebody message him
for you. A few months ago, you saw the Stones in Texas, right?
Yeah.
And you filmed a bunch of it, and I watched it all. But But what do you know about their future tour dates? Anything? Are they gonna?
Oh, I have no idea.
Okay.
I think Danny backed me when last time I heard Dan talk about the Stones. He respects the Stones, but Dan, didn't you kind of concur with what I said about the Stones a little bit?
Well, yeah. I mean, they got a whole backup band. I mean,
Yeah.
And you got Keith Richards that hardly walked away from his amplifier. He just kind of stood there. Now Mick was still doing his thing, but he had a lot of help. Yeah. He had one of the backup singers, and she is someone amazing to watch. Yeah.
That's what you were saying. Yeah. Well, I was looking forward to seeing them. I bought Betty and I bought tickets and everything right before COVID hit. It's been probably going on 3 years now, and we had tickets in San Diego, not far from here, and that would have been the third time seeing them, and I was really looking forward to it. We both were. So I don't know how they are right now. If they actually come to California, I'll find a way to go see them again.
I've seen them 3 times, and all 3 times is in the Cotton Bowl. And the second time I saw them, we actually literally had 6 front row center. We were
nice.
Yeah. They had a lottery here in Dallas. There was just thousands and thousands of people trying to get tickets. So what they did several weeks before, you had to go down and get a wristband, and the wristband had a number on it. Okay, and they put a little tab, and they keep one of the numbers and the other numbers on your wristband. Well, about a week or so later, they said, if you got a wristband, come down to the ticket agency. This is well before the internet. And so we all go down to the ticket agency, and there are cars parked all over the freeway. The freeway is shut down. Thousands of people are out there. I come walking up, and I'm already late. I got there late, and they're already lined up. I said, "Oh man, they already drew the number 1 ticket." So I go to a Dallas cop, and I said, what was the first number they drew? And he said, "What's your number?" He looked at it. He goes, "I think you're up front somewhere." Number 1 in line in Dallas for that show.
Oh, right on.
And since I was at the headquarters of the ticket agency, they're the ones that turn on the rest of the state. So they got to turn their computer on first, and she hit the keys, and 6 front row center came out.
Oh, my God.
No.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
Yeah.
So can you guys – go ahead, Dan. Go ahead.
It was the best show I ever saw. I mean, I could actually see Mick Jagger sweating. I could hear him without the microphone. I go, that's how close I was. One of the best shows ever.
That's great.
I understand. I understand U2 is touring again too. By the way, for those fans, U2, they are not to be an underestimated band. I'm going to say right now, I didn't care for U2 personally, but then one time in Denver, Colorado, I was in between shows, and a person said, "Hey, I got an extra ticket to see U2 at the back in the old Denver Stadium," and I went. And I got to tell you, those boys were impressive as shit. That was the UTV tour they had, or whatever it was called. Here's the part that I liked the most. That was really interesting, talking about throwback. At the very end of the show, Bono, who I'm not a big fan of because his politics kind of get into his thing. I don't like that crossover shit. State of the music, but I get it. Some people want to use their platform, so I'm not going to go there. But the dude comes out. Yeah, I understand. It's his passion. He comes out, though, at the end of the show. You know how they have the big stadiums, like there's a football stadium, the old Denver Broncos stadium. So they had the plank out where you walk all the way out, right? Mm-hmm. That dude came out alone on a second encore by himself into the show. And anybody performing, especially singers, knows how tough this is, what I'm about to say. He came out a cappella and did When Fools Rush In by Elvis Presley, about 3 octaves higher than Elvis, right? All by himself. It was one of the most beautiful endings to a show I've ever seen. It was amazing. And I stood there and I'm like, I'm sorry I hated you, dude. Because I'm wrong.
Something that always sticks in my mind about U2 was back, I think during the Live Aid concert. They were still fairly new back then. And they're playing, I always forget that song, Bloody Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
And
that's a tough song to sing, by the way, if you ever done covers, man.
So they got the non-vocal part of the song is going on, and Bono grabs his flag and starts climbing up the side of the stage.
Scaffolding.
Scaffolding.
That's what he would do back then.
All the way to the top. He's waving his flag back and forth. I thought, man, that guy's got balls,
He did that. He did that at Red Rocks, the famous scaffolding. That's where the rock there's a torch. And he did that there too, and it's captured in that video.
And throughout the years, I've seen other bands do it too, but I think he was one of the first to do it because I remember he got in trouble for it. And,
he didn't give a shit. Yeah.
No. But when I saw that, I go, you got to watch this band. Something, this guy's so rebellious and does it so in your face. Look what I'm doing. I go, you got to watch this guy.
Well, that's the thing, Dan. I just caught myself where I'm talking about where I was upset about his politics. But one of my favorite people of all time is John Lennon. I can't think of a more political dude than that back in those days, right?
Yeah, there's a difference. John Lennon actually had a brain, and
oh, damn, Mike!
Right?
Damn, Michael's all quiet.
Quite like that before.
Michael's all quiet.
Well, Bono as a vocalist, wonderful. U2 as a band, wonderful. They've done some great stuff, right? But Bono, his whole belief system and everything just waves with whatever the in crowd is thinking at the time, and his timing is even off at times. I'll tell you where I started losing a lot of respect for U2 is when they did that Red series of the what was it with Apple? Apple put out the iPod, and it came in red.
Yes, that sucked. Yes,
right.
They forced their album on you.
And then they forced their damn album.
Yeah.
A great album.
Bad call, though. Bad call. I completely agree. Bad marketing move.
Yeah. So now that's Bono. Now John is sitting around and he's discussing the need for revolution, but he doesn't want it to be violent. And yet at the same time, maybe it should be. He re-questioned himself from interview to interview, and often just said damned wrong things. But he was thinking the whole time and formulating a plan. The man had something to say, just like Martin Luther. Martin Luther King.
I'm going to cap on that, Michael. I think, and that's why, and boy, am I going to get in trouble here again? It's going to be my trouble night. I'm going to go with that. When people always do the John Lennon McCartney thing, the reason I favor John, we talked about this last show a little bit. I felt the authenticity, which is what I feel you're talking about. John's authenticity, whether right or wrong, comes across in his music. I mean, even a simple song like Help, man, if you listen to that song, that's an intense song. And, I wonder today, speaking of bringing this back home with our live shows, God, I wish I could see that guy today. If there was a dude I would love to see play today, and I would hope that it wouldn't be like the Stones. I would hope that he wouldn't have a backup band with cardboard cutouts back there. I don't think, I kind of wonder what he would do. We'll never know, just like a Hendrix that Royce loves. We'll never know, unfortunately. And maybe that is the reason we pay a few extra bucks to see a Paul, because we know we're not going to see him again. That might be.
That's true. That's a good point, Drew.
But Paul's prices are too high, and I'm going to segue this with that. I heard a rumor. Can you guys help me with this? Maybe this is bullshit. Is Paul going to get on bass with the Stones and go on a tour? This shit's flying around. Have you guys heard that one?
I've heard jokes about it. There was what was the joke?
Yeah, I've seen some serious shit though. That he's going to do it.
Well, the Rolling Stones need a drummer. And they need a bass
player. Get Ringo over there, right?
Yeah, Ringo would do it. Beatles, and what would be the name of that band?
Yeah, Ringo won't do it in a million years, but I could see Paul actually jumping over there to work with Mick and be a badass front. I could actually see that happening, so I wouldn't discount that.
Yeah, just odd that the Rolling Stones need, a bass player and a drummer.
It is kind of ironic. Wouldn't that be that would be kind of sweet. I'll tell you what, if Ringo gets on the kit, I will put this down right now. I'm going to say this on video right now. If Ringo Starr and Paul McCartney join the Stones or they merge, I will buy us all a ticket and make sure it's damn close. And we're going together. I'll fly us out. We're going to go see that damn show. The four of us. And you got my word. You hold me to it. It's got to be Ringo and Paul. And I'll call the venue. I'll get us VIPs. We're going in, dude. We're all going to sit there and be like, no matter what.
we got like maybe 5 years.
That's all there's left. So, yeah, it's a short-term bet. This is like Seabiscuit shit. Wow. I got to get off the floor here and drink my whiskey. You go ahead.
I'll never forget the first time I saw the Rolling Stones. It was 71 or 2 at the Long Beach Arena. And I just moved to Long Beach, and a lot of my friends from Henderson, Nevada came down, and we all went to see the Stones. My current wife went to see the Stones with me. Anyway, what blows my mind is Stevie Wonder, who I've always really liked. He's got some great music out. Even his stuff from like the mid-'60s and early 60s is just off the charts. You know, you start listening to it, you just can't stop. And Stevie Wonder opened for the Rolling Stones. And I've never seen anything like this at such a big venue. They left the lights on. People were walking up and down the aisles talking loudly. And Stevie Wonder hung in there and did, half a dozen songs. And he finally said he wanted to give the people, their money's worth. He was getting paid to be there. Maybe he did 7 songs and he stood up and he goes, "I'm just going to leave and let you guys hear the band you came to hear." And he got up and left. And he was doing a great job. And I really have a lot of respect for him. And I think I've mentioned this before, probably more than once, probably a few times, because I've done a couple of Stones unboxings when I was doing a lot of vinyl unboxing. And when I did the last Stones unboxing I told that story, and the first thing I did was unbox Stevie Wonder's greatest hits before I unboxed the Stones. For that very reason.
Is Stevie still around? What's going on with him? Is he going to tour again at all, or is he done?
I don't know anything about him touring.
I mean, so we know bands that are done are like, I don't think there's any Stevie. We know Scott, unfortunately, is gone. The 90s are going to be hurting for their comeback bands because a lot of the lead dudes from those bands are gone already. God. They're gone. So that's really interesting if you think about it, right? I mean, Pearl Jam, maybe? I haven't heard anything about those boys. I don't know if they're going to
I saw a recent video. I don't know how recent it was, but it was Eddie Vedder and Beyonce singing. And that was a great duo there.
Well, Soundgarden? No way.
Bob from the chat just chimed in a little bit ago. I didn't get a chance to mention it till now that the Rolling Stones are touring in Europe right now. So that's why we're not hearing. Yeah, currently touring in Europe. That's why we're not hearing much about them.
Yeah, there's a reason we're not hearing much about them. Yes, you can write me here and tell me how much I suck. Come on, man. Come on. I watched the show. Come on.
Zep Pearl out in the, she corrected on something I said. That wasn't the Live 8, it was Us Festival.
Oh, I worked with that dude in my reality show.
Where Bono climbs up that scaffold. That was Us Festival.
Yeah, I've noticed Zep Pearl is
Michael's a producer.
Really?
I hear Primus might be back out right now. Is that true? Does anybody know that? Hey, chatters.
I haven't heard that.
I heard Primus might be coming back out. That would be interesting. Those guys. Rob Zombie and those boys, I think, are on the verge of all hitting back out. Yeah.
Speaking of Rob Zombie, he's getting ready to release the Munsters.
I knew Dan would fire on that. That was up for you, Dan. I so spiked that up for you, Dan. You're welcome. I threw the ball. It was all, duh. This is volleyball. I'm your dude.
I've always been a Munster fan. Even when I was a kid, my metal lunch bell was the Munsters.
I think I had Scooby-Doo.
I think I had Spider-Man.
That's back when they were metal.
I was big into the Marvel comic books.
I'm pretty sure I traded Jello with you, Royce.
And you remember the thermos? Jello, man. Do you remember the thermos that used to go in it? You dropped it, it broke.
The glass. You'd open it up, you'd be like, ready to drink your chocolate milk. My Ovaltine had glass in it.
So you had to be.
I think Mom's trying to kill me.
You had to be careful in our cafeteria. Somebody'd say, "Hey, your shoelace is untied." You'd bend down; they'd still have your food.
Oh shit! Yeah, we were set up to die in our days, man. That's why we're living. You had to survive just to be in the playground.
Mr. Mazzaro just confirmed that Primus is currently touring, and a little while ago, Gloria said that Carlos Santana was in Las Vegas right now. Let's see. Pearl Jam started a European tour, and then they'll be back in the States in September.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that. Oh.
Hey, I got this on good advice.
That'd be one to watch. That'd be one to watch. No, I believe it. That's why we ask that's why we ask the fans to chime in. Thanks for paying attention, people. Instead of just chatting about what shirt you're wearing.
And Gloria says the New Kids on the Block are going
What?
strong, and they look so healthy.
What about Britney? I heard that there's some rumors going on that she may come out again. You know what? You could talk shit on Britney, but she's another one like Taylor Swift we talked about last time. She sells shit, man. She's like a train wreck.
Killing me. You guys are killing me.
But I was waiting for Michael. And Michael was having such a good hair day today.
Now it's falling out. New kids on the block.
I worked with that producer.
They never did anything ever again. If they just all retired and went away, I would thank them for the rest of my life.
Who did that? Who did the bye? Who did that one? Is that New Kids or is that the other guy? Bye.
I don't know.
That was a big video. That video was huge. Oh man.
Backstreet Boys? I have no
Backstreet Boys. I think it's Backstreet did that one.
Yeah.
And then, come on though. Britney Spears Toxic. Michael.
I'm going to tell you, I'm getting a migraine just listening to you. Good Lord.
I'm gonna send Michael.
Everything that's wrong with pop music, right there.
Michael, there's a new meme going on. I'm going to send it to you privately. It's got Britney without the music and her leathers, and she's practicing for I forget. It's a big song, but all you hear without the music track going is her outfit squeaking. So, so she's all. It's hilarious. I'm gonna send it to you, dude. You're gonna love it.
Caitlin says "Bye Bye Bye" was by NSYNC.
Ah, yes, thank you. Bye. You had to do the dance. What was the name of the song, girl? Give us the name of the song and the thing so I can send it to Michael. People, send all your favorite crap boy bands to Michael tonight.
Yeah,
fill his inbox.
Julia knew that as well.
I want 1,000 videos into Michael's inbox tonight.
Well, I'll tell you that. The chat is on fire tonight. Oh my god!
We're sicking them on Michael right now. We want every boy band in Michael's box tonight. Your favorite video, send it to Michael Nolan at the bottom line so he can talk about it on his next show. Look at him; he's rolling up his sleeves.
They're all a bunch of chumps. I'll take them all on.
I'm too big for the five of you.
I just want to see legislation that's passed that actually outlaws boy bands. That would be so cool.
But what would have happened to the Osmonds in the Jackson 5? Oh,
there you go.
Bring it on up. Oh,
every now and then I learn new things that are kind of hip nowadays. But I always forget the name of this band. What is that boy band out of Japan? I think it is.
Oh God, the new one. I thought it was Korea.
Korea.
South Korea. That's right. I just saw them on TV.
Yeah.
I must be late on it because as soon as I see them, they're already super famous.
Yes.
Where'd they come from? It's like
self-produced. Do you guys remember? We're all around the same age range. So are a lot of the fans. Do you guys remember the Brady Bunch episode where the Greg Brady, I think it was the eldest, he became a rock star because he fit the suit. They had a white suit, and it was like that was the suit. It wasn't because he was any good. It's because he happened to fit the suit, but he was starting to believe the shit, right? And he's out there, and then they cut him for whatever reason. That was what you're talking about, Michael. That was for you, Michael. That's what Michael's talking about, folks, that you think he's bagging your favorite band. He believes they're wearing the white suit. And if you don't know that, check out that episode. And you know where Michael's coming from. Just to defend my brother down below.
Lou, they're talking about you being fired up tonight in the chat.
Well, it's the what's the whiskey with cinnamon in it? I don't want to give a free ad.
What's that called?
It's not like my usual bullet. It's this other one. I'm not sponsored by them, so I'm not going to give them anything.
No, Fireball.
Caitlin says Greg Brady was portraying Johnny Bravo.
Yes. Boy, I'll tell you who's on fire tonight is the chat.
Oh man.
Yeah. The chat is following us hard tonight, man. You guys are badass tonight. Thanks for chat for joining us and having fun with us.
That is fantastic.
It makes it more fun for us too, man.
Yeah,
We're reading your shit.
Yeah.
We're reading it. We're talking with you. You're with us in the room right now, folks. That's what it's all about.
Okay. Any more 70s, 80s bands that are out? Yeah, I know we're running out of time. We've gone over our hour. I wanted to mention though, the Santa Barbara Bowl. That's 2 hours from here. I saw Rod Stewart there. Betty and I saw Rod Stewart last year. He had a cast on his foot playing soccer. He broke his foot. He was still up there trying to dance around, but he paid for it later. I heard the next couple of venues he had to do sitting down. But we've got Rod Stewart coming back to the Santa Barbara Bowl. We've got Lyle Lovett and Chris Isaac coming. Let's see. I won't read them all. Bob Dylan's going to be at the Santa Barbara Bowl. I've seen Bob Dylan once. I'd like to see him again. Black Crowes are going to be there. Let's see. Let me. I'm just skipping over them. I'm not reading every one. Trombone Shorty. That'd be fun.
I like the name.
Trombone Shorty. Yeah.
Okay. And
Robert Plant and Allison Krauss are going to be at the Santa Barbara.
It's a good show.
I just saw one here in Dallas. Next Friday night is Debbie Gibson.
Oh, the mall tour.
Debbie Gibson.
And it's called, let's see, what is the name of that?
That big song.
This is called the Body Remembers Tour.
Ooh. She was cute. She was cute back in the day.
You know, she actually tried acting for a while too, and she was awful.
Yeah, she did.
But it was kind of fun to watch her.
I'd watch her. Wait a minute, we talking about music?
Yeah. Well. Okay, I'll get through this. I'll get through this list real quick. The Goo Goo Dolls, Santa Barbara Bowl.
Oh, I know those boys. I know the Goo Goo Dolls.
Okay, Bonnie Raitt. Bonnie Raitt's going to be there. Okay,
she's still around. Right on.
They've got a good lineup there too. That'd be a lot of good shows there.
You know, the message that this should be, Royce, for the show is there's a lot of great bands to see right now. So get out there. Michael, I'm sorry. Bands. I interrupted Michael.
Everybody that's capable is out touring right now.
I wouldn't put it that way.
Reasonable price too.
Yeah, at a reasonable price too, and not necessarily sold out venues. I'm
not happy about that. Yeah,
I was at the Alice Cooper show April 23rd, and there was a lot of people there, but it could have held a lot more. You could see. I was down fairly close, but even in the aisle that I was in, I could have moved over to a large section of empty chairs, and I could have seen the drummer.
you can't make money with live streams right now, people, as an artist. So if you don't go out and see these shows, even get the cheap seats on the lawn, which is still fun, this stuff will not keep happening. So you have to go. And if you want to see the new bands after these guys, the only way that's going to happen is if you can't get a venue over at 50% with a badass name from a classic vintage act, we're in trouble. So people pick it up and get out there and support your bands. That's all I'm going to say about that.
I think we're very lucky here in Texas because everything's selling out.
Yeah, well, you boys, I was down there. Months ago, and the show where the big event happened with people getting ill. I was around that area on that. That was a badass sold out event. God bless Texas, man. They're doing their shit, man. They're getting.
There's not a whole lot of big arena shows, but these mid-size theaters are doing pretty well, as well as the smaller local venues. I mean, every time I go out, the place is packed every time.
South Dakota's not stopped. Idaho and Iowa are still cooking. The Midwest, where we used to avoid when we toured, are the most hopping places right now. Things have flipped, but it's an interesting time. I'm just telling you like it is. It really is that way. I've been all over the country. Yeah. It's true. So, we got the coastal cities need to up their game again and become the ways that we were before of supporting live music.
Yeah.
Well, I think maybe part of the problem here that we haven't really talked about tonight, I think these local venues are selling out well enough locally, but a lot of these artists are used to selling tickets from people 300, 400, 500 miles away, and gas prices take into not only a couple of $100 for each ticket, so you got $400 there and another $300 in gas there and back. Well, that becomes prohibitive.
No, that's very true, Michael, because even at my level, when I would play like San Francisco, or I did the Stork in Oakland, which is well known back in the day, 2015. people were sending us messages that, hey, we're driving all the way from Nevada to see you guys, just so they could say they saw the world record drummer or whatever, that kind of crap. So but there is something to be said about that. So for these bigger bands, even more so. And right now, at the point of this video, for people listening, depending on when you listen to this in the future, or whenever, if you're listening right now, gas in the Central Coast is edging up $6.50 to $7 a gallon. In California. You know that to be true, Royce. Right here, I'm up in Northern California.
Terrible for the diesel. I've got a 1-ton diesel.
16 cents for the cheapest gas at the cheapest place in town.
Yeah, we're not talking Chevrons, folks.
Yeah.
We're not talking Chevrons. We're talking the speedways where you get your gas cheap on the road. Yes. Yeah.
I filled it up for my wife and daughter. They went on a trip today, and it was $16.16 per gallon.
So people have said to me, are you going to tour, Lou? And I'm like, okay, so first off, I don't have a guarantee it won't be canceled. Second, it takes a year to book it. Third, the gas is through the roof and heading toward $10 a gallon. Here's my recommendation. You people go see these bands right now, because we have no idea how this is going to affect in the short term.
Yeah, that's true.
Here by the end of the year. So go see them, man.
I agree. Yeah.
I'm parking it. I'm not taking anybody out in this world until this is over and see where it lands.
Right.
It's just it's business. Music business.
I think it's smart for the bands that are doing this. Dan talks about theaters doing real well. I think it's time to bring back the entire theater circuit anyway. These huge arenas, they're fine for certain bands.
Yep.
But, I saw Donovan 2 years ago,
2+
years ago in San Francisco at a theater. Just him and his acoustic guitar telling tales about the Beatles and everything, and talking in between. Yeah, I think we paid about $100 and a real nice balcony seat, and he was wonderful. What's wrong with seeing? I'm used to going to theaters to see rock acts. Yeah.
No, I'm glad you said that, Michael. Because
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No. I was just going to say that one of the best shows I think I've seen. You all know who Richie Havens is, right?
Oh yeah.
He did the song "Freedom" at Woodstock. Well, I loved Richie Havens.
Yep.
And he showed up in Long Beach playing at the Fox Theater downtown, and Betty and I went down there and watched him. And this guy came out all by himself, acoustic guitar, wearing a suit, and he stood up and hopped up and down through every song. And I mean, at the end of that show, he was drenched with sweat. He was soaking wet. He hopped up and down as he played every song on the acoustic guitar. It was absolutely electrifying, really. I mean, it was just a great show. And the guy has a great voice. I think I read recently where he passed away. I could be wrong about that. Zep Pearl probably knows. He's pretty much on top of everything.
I'm going to cap Michael's what Michael said, because if I go back out the way I would do it, there's all these old theaters like the Fox, Senators, Ogden's, and I've played them all. But they have the old movie theater screen still there with a stage in front. They are perfect for rock bands. And for you young rock bands out here, here's a tip. If you can't fill that theater when you're negotiating, negotiate that they close off the top balcony. Because if you close off the top balcony, you just sell tickets toward the base on the bottom. It's a huge tip for you young guys. And then that way you need a packed room on the bottom. You don't want it sprinkled over the whole theater if you can't fill it. And that's what you negotiate. So check that out and get those theaters booked. It's a good thing.
Talk about this gas
theater.
This gas situation. One of the things about the local venues, like I wouldn't say big national acts, but semi, national acts. I'd say maybe regional acts. Now they can come to Dallas and they can hit 4 or 5 spots just in the city of Dallas.
Yeah, it's like the Midwest. Yeah.
Yeah, you do a little city tour of all these little venues.
Bang.
And the thing is, people will go to these local venues because I don't want to have to spend, $50 on gas just to go to downtown Dallas when I can go 2 miles down the road. So I've actually seen like little city circuits going on with some of these more well-known people. Jimmy Vaughn is one of them.
Exactly. So, and that's why I even brought up this whole theater circuit idea, is because theaters, you only need to sell so many tickets to sell them out. You don't have to fish 300 miles down the road to fill the venue, right?
Right.
Perfect for the times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Daddy Bog just chimed in on Richie Havens. I guess he died in 2013. I didn't know it was that long ago.
Damn it.
The Doobies with Michael McDonald are touring. Mr. Bizarro just chimed in.
Steely Dan is on tour too.
And Eddie's Physical Media Talk, and that's a show you guys should all check out. Eddie's Physical Media Talk, along with Mr. Bizarro. Eddie's saying that, and buy the merchandise from the bands.
Yeah, that will help. Well, it depends. Yeah, that's
it depends. I mean,
that's a slippery slope.
Yeah,
I was at the Alice Cooper show, and I don't know how much help Alice really needs it.
Go to their website, folks. Go to their websites. The venue is selling.
But the T-shirt, the tour T-shirt was for sale along with everything else, and they were like $50 a piece.
Mm-hmm.
And I went on my phone, and there was a tour T-shirt for like $24. You know,
I've seen shirts of mine sold on eBay that aren't me, folks. So watch that shit. Yeah, no.
One thing I can't stand the bootleggers. When you leave when you leave like the Cotton Bowl, and you're trying to get out of the parking lot, people are just walking by your cars with all these T-shirts, $10.
Yeah,
it's a great price, but yeah, I get it, but yeah, I can't comment on that. I'll get pissed off. But I get it, because we're all tight on our money. I was that kid too that I didn't have $20 for this shirt, So yeah, that's a tough thing, man. I get the kid doing that.
I just kind of wonder how many people like in the neighborhood around the Cotton Bowl have printing presses in their house.
Oh shit! Yeah, I know.
And they just print them up for every concert, and they're always out there every single time.
That's why I said it's a slippery slope on that. Go to the website if you really want it to go directly. Go to the website of the musician, please.
That way you don't have to keep up with it during the concert too.
Yeah, yeah, right. Wait, you don't want to hold that shit. Anyways, you want to be able to get the $20 beer.
Yeah, Eddie's Physical Media was also mentioning that the gas and the inflation is a major factor for people not going to shows, and that's very true. I mean, that's really cut into the budgets. I mean, I'm still working. I mean, I run my construction business. My wife and I both have real estate licenses. I got to get busy on that because I'd rather be doing that than construction right now. And we do home inspections this week. This week alone, we did home inspections on 3 commercial buildings in Morro Bay and 1 house up in Cambria. And so that's about as much as I'll ever do in a week, 4 of them. But anyway, so between that and working construction, I mean, I don't know where I even find the time anymore, because I mean, that's not a 40-hour a week job doing all those things because you're always making out invoices. And I'll spend whatever the time that takes to make out the invoices. But and you're working on bids, working on your proposal for the next phase of a job or another job or whatever. So I work a lot of hours, and it's hard to get to all the chats I'd like to go watch or all the shows and stuff like that. But we find the time, to pop in and out of them and stuff. And
Royce, that's part of the problem too. You're not the only one who's working a lot of extra hours to make ends meet. Mm-hmm. So not only does everything cost more, but you got to work more, and you have less time to play.
Oh, that's exactly right. Yeah.
And I'm going to be the unpopular guy and flip this. Hey, folks, the musicians are doing the same thing. It costs us a lot of money to do these shows right now. So the reason your prices suck is because we're paying out a lot of money to get there. Oh, yeah. It's just a tough time. So if you're getting a deal, go to the show. If you're getting a deal, go, there's no reason not to. That's all. We're going to be back. This shit's going to go away. We have all been through all these different crises throughout time that get ridiculous, but they eventually go away. And this will be no different. Let's write it out. Let's keep supporting our live music as best we can. And then let's get back out there when it's rocking again, full throttle.
Right.
That's a good close to the show, I think, Royce.
Yeah.
Besides, I'm out of whiskey.
Well, okay. Listen, group. We are going to close now. I mean, we used to go for 2 and sometimes 3 hours. But when I study my analytics and stuff like that, and you do a 3-hour show and you look at your analytics and you've got a certain percentage of watch time, it's like, anyway, I don't want to get into all that, but I just want to say I want to thank everybody for being in the chat here tonight. And we hate to run off like this, but we were trying to limit the shows to an hour because they were getting out of control. And I want to thank all my hosts here tonight. You guys are fantastic. I want to thank everybody in the chat. We really appreciate you. You guys make this all more fun and worth doing. I don't know what I would do without you guys. So thank you all very, very much. Appreciate you being here. And we're gonna close the show down now. And are you gonna do a little dance for us, or?
I'm doing my Dan tribute.
I mean, if you haven't hit the thumbs up button, please go hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please hit the subscribe button. We would really appreciate it. It helps the show grow. It lets people know that people are watching, and it actually encourages Google and YouTube to recommend our show. If a lot of people are watching it and interested in it.
I'd like to add something.
Okay.
I just read this just a little while ago, and it's just something to kind of remember. This about Ozzy Osbourne. I don't know if y'all heard, but he's having some major surgery tomorrow.
Surgery. Yeah.
Oh, that's not good.
And I have a feeling it's probably going to be on his spine, still from that accident that he had with the four-wheeler. But Sharon is saying this could be a life-changing surgery. She didn't say the good or the bad, but
I'm glad you brought that up, because I did hear that, and I forgot to say anything about it. And
so it should happen tomorrow sometime. So kind of keep an eye out on that.
The current drummer for Ozzy Osbourne, Tommy Clufetus, who's you want to see a great drummer too. Just go Google one of his solos or something. It's great too. But anyway, he's my granddaughter's godfather.
Because Stu and I were friends. He's a prior drummer. We were good buddies.
Yeah, and he used to play for somebody mentioned it earlier. That was involved with the Munsters or
Rob Zombie.
Yeah, he used to play with Rod Zombie and a couple of other people too. And then he got tapped by Ozzy and has been touring with Ozzy for a few years.
My good buddy James Gunn lives next door to Rob Zombie. Who, James Gunn from Guardian of the Galaxies. He was the frontman in the Pods back in the 90s, the band I was in. Says we got to do a crazy story. We'll have to get him on the show one of these times. It'd be hilarious.
Right.
James and I talking again would be bad.
Okay. Well, anyway, I want to thank everybody again. Thank you all. And let's do it again next week, next Sunday, same time, same channel. We'll be back. Thank you so much.
Peace, everybody. My brothers.